Hey guys, today we're taking a little bit of a detour. We've been working on the HVAC rough-in the last couple of videos on the channel here if you've been following along. And I'm waiting on some material and some parts for us to be able to complete that rough-in and get ready for the inspection. We're close, but not quite there. And I want to keep the progress going on this build, so we're switching gears, and as you can probably guess, we're going to talk about a gas line install. We have one gas appliance in this house. It is going to be a range, which is going to sit here in the kitchen. We're going to get it plumbed up. I've never done this before. I'm going to show you how I'm doing it, start to finish. Let's get going. Before we get too far into this video, let me tell you guys, working with gas lines and natural gas and propane can be dangerous. So if you're not comfortable doing this on your own, have a professional either come help you or do the project in its entirety. With that being said, let's talk about how I'm doing our gas line rough-in. If you're not familiar with gas lines and the materials that you can use, if you go to your box store, you go to a distributor, you can find copper, gas lines, corrugated stainless steel tubing, and black pipe. For our build, we're gonna use black pipe. What I've done behind the scenes, I'm not going to get into it in this video. If you're interested in it, I can run the numbers with you guys in a separate video. Just put a comment down below, and if I get enough, maybe I can do a video on that. But I have chosen black pipe based on the BTUs that I need, the length of run, the size of the tubing, and the pressure coming out of that second stage regulator. I've run the numbers. 1/2-inch black pipe works the best for me, so that's what I'm going to use. Let's get going here, right where the range is going to be, and get this thing stubbed down through the floor. I'm just going to do a temporary fit here to make sure this looks good. Love it. Perfect. That's exactly what it's going to look like right there. What I have found with these pieces of pipe that you get at the box stores, they come with these caps on them to protect the threads, and I haven't seen any damaged threads, but both of these, when I took the caps off, had dirt and stuff stuck in between the threads. So I just take a brush and kind of clean them out, because I want a nice good seal here. So I'm looking everything over before I put it together to make sure I'm not getting a damaged product or trying to make a damaged product work. Those look pretty good. Nice clean threads. Then I'm just gonna throw this on here just by hand here. Yep. Seems to work good. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of thread compound on here. I want to try to keep the inside of this pipe clean. So I'm not putting any sealant out on the end. I'm staying back a thread or two when I put this stuff on. Just making sure I get it down in the threads. Make sure you get gas rated sealant or compound. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this on here. Turns quite a bit easier. With that compound on there. So that's hand tight. All right. All right. I've put a little mark on my pipe here so I know where my valve needs to be positioned in the wall. So let's go ahead and slip that down. All right, here's what it looks like. I think that will be a good look and a nice, easy, convenient way to hook the range up. From my understanding, reading code, a sediment trap drip leg is not required for a range, but I'm going to put one on here anyways. So what's going to happen underneath the floor, the piece that we just stubbed down is going to go down into here, into this T, and then the gas line will shoot this way out underneath the floor joist. This will be the trap where any sediment that's in the piping coming this way as the gas is coming through here to make the turn to go up. The heavier solids, if there's any in there, or contaminants, will hit this sidewall on the pipe and drop down below, thus not clogging up our appliance. And I've got the compound on there, tightened it by hand, and then did it one more spin with the pipe wrenches, so we should be good. Let's go ahead, now that I have this in together, we can go down. Let's go ahead and go down and get this threaded on our stub out underneath, and then we can kind of see where we're at with things. Okay, I'm gonna need to spin it for a minute to get this dope on it, so just let me spin it. Okay. All right. You gonna get it set? Not yet. Let me get this threaded on first. Just gonna get it hand tight. Okay, get it to where it's okay. You're good? Yep. Okay, you good? It doesn't have to be perfect. How does that look? Fine. Okay. Because I can't really get it any tighter. And I don't want to loosen it. So I think I can make that work. I'm about a half a pipe size too high. So originally I had on here an 18-inch piece to stub down, and that was a little bit too long. So I shortened it up to a 12-inch, and I'm about it's a half-inch pipe, so I'm about a 1/4 inch maybe off. But I think I can pick that up because I have to shoot this way 30 inches, and then with my elbow I think I can shoot it down just a little bit, so when I come this way I'll be right underneath the floor joist. But that's kind of a bummer. I really don't want to have to go somewhere, cut pipe, and then have it threaded and go through that whole mess. I'd rather use pre-cut lengths if I can from the manufacturer. That's kind of the bummer with this, I guess, but let's see if we can't make this work. Let's get the next section on and get the elbow on. A couple of lessons learned putting this stuff together. I started out probably using a little bit too much pipe dope or thread compound, whatever you want to call it, on these fittings. I was using enough where it would ooze out, and some of them dripped down onto the plastic. So I started cutting back, and it seemed to work out just fine. I think the big thing is just making sure you get that thread compound down inside the grooves on those threads. And then the other thing I'll say is it doesn't take that much force to put these things together. I hand tightened everything, got it as tight as I could without any wrenches, and then take your pipe wrenches, and I used some smaller pipe wrenches on this, and get another 1.5 turns or so on average, and that will tighten it. At least for me, it tightened it enough where I didn't have any leaks down the road. Otherwise, those are probably the big takeaways from putting this pipe together. It runs pretty easy, just kind of plan it out. The book tells you the flow charts give you up to 4 elbows, and that's what we ended up using. 4 elbows from where the tank is going to hook in until the appliance. So I think we're in pretty good shape there, and then I'm just using galvanized straps to hang it. There you have it, folks. First couple pieces up, and I think we're looking good. I'll come back and put a few more support straps in there. But I think that's looking pretty good, nice and secure. And we're gonna call it a yesterday. We'll come back and put the rest of these links in and work on getting through the foundation wall. Putting together a couple of more couplings here for these 10-foot lengths. There's a couple of different options with your pipe lengths if you go to the box stores. 10-foot lengths is what they're going to sell for the longest section, and that's what we're putting together here as we run over into the foundation wall. Okay, so here's where things get interesting. We are up to this point with our pipe. We're secured all the way back. And we've run it all the way over from the stove to here, and I'm about 5 feet away from the wall here. So what I can't do is, if I run this straight out, it's going to go right through the sill plate, and I can't do that. So I need to take this, elbow it up, and then elbow it out. And I need to try to do this where I'm not having to cut and rethread pipe. So I think what I'm going to do is elbow up here. We're going to put a 6-inch piece sticking up, elbow back over there, and I think 2 pieces will get me just about right, an 18-inch piece and a 36-inch piece. Should get me about 54 inches, which will get me 2 inches outside, not counting the diameter of the pipe with the elbows, which should get me a couple of extra inches out there, so maybe be sticking out 3-4 inches, which I think would be good. So let me show you where I'm hoping to pop out the exterior wall here. And remember, if you're new on the build, so my rim board is here, and on the other side of this is a reverse brick ledge, is 8 inches of concrete. So I need to drill through this wood and then 8 inches of concrete and pop out the outside. And I'll show you where I'm set up out there. All right, here is the little makeshift pad that I brought some extra dirt up, and I'm hoping to pop out here just above grade, and then we can plumb into the tanks that'll be set here right in between these 2 windows, and that should work. All right, guys, so this is what I'm thinking. We're gonna shoot it out just like this. Gives me a little bit of room, keeps me kind of down below. I don't know if y'all can see this. So I'm gonna elbow up, over, and then go out that way, approximately right there. The one thing I don't know, the bit that I got is a SDS Plus core bit, and I can only drill out 2 inches at a time. So it's going to be interesting, and I don't think this is rated for reinforced concrete. So fingers crossed we don't hit rebar, because if you've been following along on the channel, we've put a lot of rebar in this foundation wall. And I'm afraid if I hit it that my bit's not going to go through, but the only way to know is, I guess, to drill it. So let's do this. I absolutely hate putting holes in the exterior of the house, but this is a necessity, so I think I got enough courage. Let's give it a try. All right, we are through the rim joist now. The insulation. So when we put the floor system in, we used 1/2-inch insulation board in between the rim joist and our concrete, just to give us a capillary break. And I think we're in pretty good shape. Yes, we are to the concrete. Okay, here goes nothing. Time to test this bit out. and see what we can do. try to get it centered in this hole best I can. I must say I'm impressed with this Milwaukee core bit. I think it's a 1 9/16 or something like that size. You're kind of limited with the SDS Plus because the shanks are not that big. You're kind of limited on size, but this is a nice core bit. It chewed through the concrete pretty well. Thankfully didn't hit any rebar, but you'll see here in a minute I do get the bit stuck. It was hard to clean the hole out because I'm going through all that wood and then the styrofoam, and I just couldn't keep it cleaned out, and I get the drill stuck. You'll see it here in a second, and have to get the air compressor down here and blow some compressed air in there to get it cleaned out. Here we are, we're stuck. I couldn't pull the bit out, so I'm a little bit of a panic mode here, trying to do everything I can to get that thing cleaned out, tap it with a hammer, and eventually I work it loose, going forwards and backwards, and was able to pull it out, but a little bit of a panic mode. And thankfully we didn't hit any rebar, so I got lucky on that one. There we are, folks. We have made it out the concrete wall, and I think we're looking pretty good. Let's go take a peek outside, see what she looks like. See how close we got to that flag. A little bit of blowout here, but that is perfect. That's exactly where I wanted to come out of the foundation. Now we can get our pipe ran, and we're, I don't know, probably 2 inches above grade, which I can bring this down a little bit, but I think that looks good. All right. For this, what we're going to do, I'm going to get a mark on this guy, and then we are going to clean the outside off and paint it. Because I am close to the ground, it's going to get wet sticking outside, and this black iron will rust fairly quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it outside. We'll put some acetone on it and get it cleaned up and painted. There you have it, guys. Don't know if you can tell or not. Nice and shiny. Put some paint stripper on it and some sandpaper, some light sandpaper, and now it's time for some paint. Finished product. Looks good. If you have to paint your tubing, just make sure you don't paint your threads. Put some tape over it. Let's go get this thing installed because I'm ready to pressure test it. All right, here we go. I'm gonna put 10 pounds in it. Code says no less than 10. So we're gonna keep it right at 10 and go check for leaks. Now it's just a matter of spraying everything with soapy water and seeing if we get any bubbles. If y'all watched the plumbing video, we did have a leak when we got done with the plumbing. So you can go back and check that video out. I'll link it up in the corner, and you can see what an air leak looks like with soapy water. Basically just continuous bubbles. The fitting looks good. We're going to check the rest of them, and I'll come back and let you guys know if I find anything that leaks. So here's where we're at. Coming out the wall, we have a 1-inch Schedule 40 PVC. I put some duct sealant around there between that and the concrete, and then I also have duct sealant between the pipe and the sleeve to give it room for expansion and contraction and movement in here since it's going through a foundation wall. And I think that should be pretty good. We're actually protected from the weather because we're underneath the stone drip ledge, metal drip ledge flashing underneath. So it's going to keep most of the water away, but I still want to seal it up for bugs and what have you. So that is the finished product. We're still holding 10 PSI. So we're looking good there. It's been, I don't know, at least an hour or two. We're gonna give it a few more and we'll come back and check it again, but we're looking pretty good so far. Now that I'm pretty confident we don't have any leaks in the system, it's time to go back through and put our extra strapping in to meet code so we have the pipe supported appropriately, and this was quick and easy. All right, guys, we have our sign off. We've passed the gas line rough-in inspection, although my paranoia has still not settled down. So we held pressure for 6 to 8 hours, and then I noticed a little bit of a pressure drop overnight, which I think is normal because I'm using my air compressor and putting air from that into the line. So that's been heated, and as it cools, the pressure is dropping and the temperature overnight is dropping as well. So I think that is giving us the slightly less than 10 PSI reading on our gauge. But as far as the test required by code, 10 PSI for no less than 10 minutes, and we're holding that for a good 6 to 8 hours. And I feel pretty confident with that. But when I checked for leaks in the video, I used some soapy water and I thought, well, I'm not finding any leaks. Maybe my solution is not mixed properly for whatever reason. So I went to the store and bought this gas leak detector, put 10 PSI back in the line and checked it. Did not see any leaks or bubbles from the leak detector. So I think we're in good shape. What I'll do when we get ready to hook the tanks up is I'll get one of those little sniffer tools and check the fittings for leaks with that as well, just to give myself a good warm fuzzy, because this is the first time I'm doing this. And I'm not having the propane company come out to hook the tanks up. What we're gonna do is kind of similar to an RV setup. We're gonna have two 40-pound tanks, and I'm gonna have the capability of drawing off one tank or the other with an auto switching valve, and also a valve that I can draw off both tanks simultaneously. Our range is a 48-inch range with 6 burners on top and 2 ovens, and it's capable, if you had everything full blast, of pulling 92,000 BTUs. And I don't want to have to worry about vaporization issues when it's really cold outside. The tanks are on the south side of the house, so in the winter they'll be getting some sunshine and hopefully keeping them warm. And it doesn't really get that cold here in North Carolina anyways. But nonetheless, I think it's going to be a good setup. More on that when we get to the finals. But for now, the gas line rough-in is complete. We're going to go back to the heating and cooling. I have a few things to button up on that before we can call for an inspection. And then the only thing after that is the electrical rough-in. We're going to start putting insulation in. We're going to start finishing that mechanical room. I need to get the ERV plumbed in, get our ductwork, return lines put in, get the air handler set. So I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's pretty exciting. I hope you guys look forward to those videos, because the finishing stuff to me is really what matters. You know, this is all the prep work behind trying to make the finished work look good, and I hope ours does in the end. So that's the gas line rough-in, one video, start to finish. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below, and I'll try to do my best. And again, if you guys want me to go through how I sized my piping and how I'm thinking these tanks will work with the appliance that we're using, let me know in the comments below as well. I can do another video to kind of walk you guys through the process using the charts and what's in the code book to plan out or map out your propane gas lines. That's all I have for you guys today. We'll see you on the next video.